Talk about why rural communities are particularly at risk.
So I remember, Katie, when I first took this job, I went to Nebraska and I was at an event some people from the station had organized, and there were some board members and there were some donors and some people from the community. And a man came up to me at the event and he said, "I drove 3 hours to this event. Are you the woman who's now running PBS?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, I came here because I want to meet you and I want to look you in the eye and tell you this. When I made the decision that I wanted to raise my kids on the farm where I grew up, I worried a little bit because I wanted them to have all the advantages that a kid could have. And I worried that living in a rural part of the state, they would feel cut off." And he said, "But we have you." And he said, "And I want you to remember me because you are not a nice to have for my family, you're essential. And you can't mess this up." And so I've thought about him like really every day. And I have told his story multiple times because I think, look, I've been in this job 19 years, so I've been to not every one of our 330 stations, but most of them. And it's in rural parts of the country where I see that our stations have an outsized influence. A lot of these communities are also news deserts. You know, the local papers have folded. These are the places where candidates come in for debates. These are the places where communities come together for town halls. These are the places where the station works closely with daycare providers and teachers and others. They're a true community resource. I mentioned Granite Falls a few minutes ago. I went to the opening of their station there a few years ago, and the community was so pleased that they had this station, and they were doing so many community events and convenings and bringing people together. It had become a gathering place. And even in a rural part of the country, one of the people associated with the station said, "You know, we used to stand out by our fence posts and catch up on what happened at the end of the day." And he said, "We don't do that so much anymore. We need a place where we can come together," and that's what we envisioned when we created this station here.